Now, back to the Larry Kudlow Show.
So, yesterday, 24 Nobel Prize-winning economists slammed the Republican economic plan, Trump's plan, a joint letter spearheaded by Joe Stiglitz, himself a Nobelist who a couple years ago flew to Caracas, Venezuela to endorse Hugo Chavez. All right, how about that? Trump's tariffs and his tax cuts are going to cause high inflation, bigger deficits, and greater inequality. This is the same crowd, basically, that attacked Trump in 2016 and said if he'd win, we'd have a stock market crash and a depression. They were wrong. And in 2021, they said the Biden spending plan wouldn't cause inflation, and they were wrong. Real incomes went up $4,000 under Trump and fell by $2,000 under Joe Biden. Let's talk to John Carney, Breitbart news editor, economics and finance, and co-author of the must-read Breitbart Business Digest. John Carney, what is it with these Nobel Prize winners? What is it with this group, for God's sakes?
They are a perfect contrarian indicator, Larry, as you just laid out. Not one of these guys called the Biden inflation. Not one of them got that right. None of them called the Trump boom. They didn't get that right. Frankly, even calling themselves – so look, they won Nobel Prizes. Very few of them have actually ever done any work in the way policy affects the macroeconomy. That's not what they win for. They win for doing things like looking at asymmetries in information markets, looking at, very technical economic things. So the idea that the way I would liken it is it's like a heart surgeon who, amazing heart surgeon coming in telling you that he's going to deliver your baby.
Good point.
You're an expert. You're a heart surgeon. I'm not, I don't know about heart surgery, but do you know about delivering babies? These guys don't know how tax rates, how tariffs work. They thought the tariffs would be inflationary, and they weren't. They didn't think the actual policies that got us inflation would cause inflation, and they did. They can't be trusted. And frankly, the most reassuring thing is these letters don't mean anything anymore. I think 10 years ago, maybe something like this would matter. People look at this now and they laugh. Nobody cares what these guys say.
Yeah, it reminds me like billionaire donors to political campaigns who then start dispensing their political advice. They don't know anything about politics. I mean, they made their money because they're great businessmen and women. Okay, terrific. But they're not political people. But they discourse on politics, and the media always talks to them. Milton Friedman was a Nobel Prize winner. Friedrich Hayek was a Nobel Prize winner, great free market conservatives. I can't remember his first name. Buchanan from Virginia.
James.
Who is it?
James Buchanan.
That's it. James Buchanan, who was a public choice economist. So there have been a few, in the last 40 or 50 years, a couple of conservatives. But it is discouraging to some extent, John Carney, that the Nobel Committee, whatever, Sweden Committee, they always go left. I mean, it's gotten worse. I think it's really gotten worse. They always go to the left for these prizes.
Well, one thing that maybe this will give you a little hope, Larry. This 23 people is about half of all the living Nobel economists, and you have to think Stiglitz, who organized this letter, went out to all of them. Right? He went out and asked every single one of them to sign this letter, and he got half. I'm not saying the other half are definitely 100% behind Trump, but they weren't willing to sign a letter saying that Kamala's policies will be better for the economy than Trump's. And so, I'm not saying that there's like a shadow letter, but in a sense there is. One way to report this would be half Nobel Prize economists reject Joe Stiglitz's attempt to say Kamala's better.
John, I know Joe Stiglitz, okay. I haven't seen him in a while, but I know him. He was in the Clinton administration, if I'm not mistaken, and he was not the far lefty, endorsing Hugo Chavez that he has become. That's the weird thing. I mean, he's not – a lot of these guys have moved to the left in recent years, because of left-wing politics and all of the divisions that we have. And the other thing is the rubber meets the road. Tax cuts, right? They cannot stomach supply-side tax cuts, and they cannot stomach the tariffs. Reciprocity is the new free trade. Why should the United States sit around and take it? Because these countries have much higher tariffs than we do. They just are living in the past, John Carney. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I actually did. So this tariffs is the one thing they definitely single out in this letter. All the things they single out tariffs. I did some research into their research. None of them have written substantial work on tariffs.
Huh.
It's not their specialty at all. And frankly, they very often when these guys talk about tariffs, they talk about them in the worst way imaginable, meaning they come up with the worst application and they say that's what Trump's going to do. As you and I have been trying to drive home to people, tariffs are a way of negotiating to better, fairer, and freer trade.
Yes.
The world doesn't have that now.
Yes.
These guys haven't. Look, they obviously need to watch your show. They need to read Breitbart Business Digest. They need to listen to this radio show because it's as if this has never even been proposed to them that we could use tariffs to do this, even though Trump says it all the time. So they're not even paying attention.
Terrific stuff. Thank you. John Carney, Breitbart Business Digest. Folks, you got to read it. It comes out daily. Breitbart Business Digest. It's up on the website for Breitbart News. We're going to take a quick break, and the other side of the break, going to talk some politics with my friend Senator Rick Scott of the great state of Florida. Please stick around. Lots more to do.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.